Here's Lisa.
How you doing? How are you? That when you go in and sit down, you fill them out, and I'll be in to collect them, okay? All right. Let's start. You go. Don't be scared.
TV? I'm from P, but I need you, man. I swear to God, bro. No, we ain't seen
Anybody have these? Go. Wait a minute, young man. You gotta fill out the video release and the evaluation. Anybody else have a pre-registered form already? You already filled it out. Looks like this.
Good morning. I am Lisa Phillips, and I always start off by saying I am a proud principal of Cass Technical High School.
Down there and
Mr. Dunmore, Ms. Redmond, Mr. Lane, and the guests from the automotive industry, welcome to Cass Technical High School, ranked by the Michigan Department of Education as the #1 academic high school in the U.S. It is indeed a pleasure to host the first Automotive Career Day at Cass Tech. I would be remiss if I did not thank Ms. Donna Redmond, Ms. Alfreda Weathers, and the entire automotive planning team, and of course, Mr. Holly, the assistant principal at Cass Tech. Now, at this time, I would like to welcome our wonderful guests and schools from EPS. When I call your school, would you please stand and let's receive them with a warm welcome. Central High School, welcome to Cass Tech. understand. It is my honor and privilege to ask the person responsible for this event to come to the podium. Please welcome, and I would like for everyone to stand, the legendary founder and president of Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, Jr. Let's show him some love. Everyone, please stand.
Say I am. Come together, say I am. Everybody, say I am. Somebody. I am. On your feet, I am. Somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. Everybody stand. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Say I am. Somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything. I can learn anything in the world if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. It is not my aptitude, but my attitude that will determine my altitude, how high I will rise. Down with dope, up with hope. Down with dope, up with hope. Stop the violence, save the children. Stop the violence, save the children. Stop the violence, save the children. Keep hope alive, never surrender. Keep hope alive, keep hope alive. Let me hear you scream. Automotive Summit Conference. We have our allies here from Sodexo, and a company that engages in almost in entertainment, but in service. Sodexo, please stand. Give it up for our Sodexo friends. Stand up, Sodexo. Hyundai. Give it up for Hyundai. Toyota. DPS Foundation, the Department of Public Schools, give them a hand. One of our concerns today is that many of us, our dream level is too low, and we aspire too low because we do not believe the world beyond us. There is a world beyond you, and that world is achievable if you really believe it so. A few days ago, this past weekend, I went with my friend John Graves to the Ryder Cup, a golf tournament outside of Chicago. And what TV captures are about 20 players. You see Tiger Woods, and you see Mickelson, and you see McIlroy. You see about 20 people. But somebody is in the business of making golf balls. Somebody is in the business of providing entertainment. Someone is sponsoring the event. Someone is in the business of hosting the event with foodstuffs and entertainment. Someone is in the business of making the clothes they wear. There are more people working in the industry than playing on the course. In some sense, in this Automotive Summit Conference, we're saying to you that there's more in the car than the ride. and the shoes they wear. Somebody is in the business of coaching. Say, golf is more than a player, a club, and a ball. Golf is an industry. Repeat, there are more people At one point, people of color could only come to Detroit at that time and could work in the automotive industry on the assembly line. That was a good job as compared to picking cotton, making automobiles. And then we kept driving to get good jobs within the automotive industry. And then to become a member of a union to get strong worker protections. And then we began to get auto dealerships. But in every car, in every car, there's 7 to 13,000 parts. In every car, there's 7 to 13,000 parts. Every part is an industry. Every screw, every light, every wheel, every tire, every lock, the style of the car, the lawyers, the ad agencies. So in every car, there's more than the ride. And so we're trying to get you to think beyond just, I saw it, I liked the sleek lines, I know about the horsepower, let me buy it. That is the result of a lot of parts and pieces. You may be one who designs the colors of the car or makes the chemicals that make up the paint of the car or the seats in the car. When we say Global Automotive Summit Conference, the car is really a global piece of machinery. Say every car represents the globe. Parts of the car come from all over the world. They are assembled in one place called the assembly plant. But the car is a sum total of its parts. The reason I want you to think about life beyond just a car is that when we see life in its fullness, it's attractive to us. Sisters, and not die apart as fools. Talk to me. Say, life is full of choices and consequences. If I make low choices, I have low consequences. To put it this way, half of all human beings on earth are Asian, and half of them are Chinese. 1/8 of the human race is African, 1/4 Nigerian. 2/3 of the people in our hemisphere speak Spanish. Say English is a minority language in our hemisphere. I must learn to speak Spanish to speak with 2/3 of my neighbors. So most people, talk to me, say most people in the world are yellow, brown, black, non-Christian, poor, female, young, and don't speak English. I must learn to cope in that world. And if I produce what the world needs, I will survive and thrive. If I find a cure for cancer, the whole world will come to my doorstep. If I find a cure for AIDS, the world will come to my doorstep. If I make an efficient car that drives further, that uses less energy, and cost less, I'll become a force in the global automotive industry. In some sense, we're trying to get to your mind today. I'm going to close on this note. Some years ago, I went to a Super Bowl football game, and there were millions and millions of people watching the game, and on the field there were 22 players, and their skills attracted the millions. But outside of the stadium, people selling goods and products and services. There were more people at the Super Bowl than Super Bowl players. Somebody was selling T-shirts. There's a group called FUBU, right? For Us, By Us. They used to sell T-shirts outside of the Yankee Stadium, and they learned that if they bought more, they could sell them for a cheaper price and get a bigger profit. Then they learned that the T-shirts were made in Asia. They learned they could get them in bulk cheaper. They built a whole company around selling, say, For Us, By Us, is a dream beyond just buying the T-shirt. Talk to me. Say, when I buy the T-shirt, I buy the end product. I buy the end, the process. Our special presenters today will share with us process, not just product. Some years ago, when Deion Sanders was playing football, we were talking about his dancing in the end zone after he would intercept the ball and run a touchdown. And everybody was wearing number 21 and trying to dance and move in the end zone like Deion Sanders. And see what you said. And on the report to get a study on the team we're about to play, review the team just played, review our mistakes. It's a review. Review mistakes and prepare the next poll. And then they go through getting their bodies ready again. I know it's a lot of running. And then take off for Apollo and Tuesday. According to your halfback, fullback, whatever your position may be. And then they work through the other team's plays against the practice team. What you see on Sunday afternoon for 2 hours is about 60 hours of work. See, when I look at the game on Sunday afternoon, I see 2 hours of 60 hours of work. There'll be a review coming out pretty soon called the Motown Review. And of course, it got its start in Detroit, and Hitsville, USA was not far from here. But the records you heard were the result. The big problem that the artists had with Barry Gordon was he challenged them to practice over and over again and practice their dance routines and practice how they would do interviews with the press. He taught them how to be disciplined in their course. Say if, repeat if, my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. I'll tell you this little story about Dr. King and let you get on with our session today. We see Dr. King on TV a lot giving the I Have a Dream speech. But what you don't see very well, at age 14, he was in a debate on the Negro and the Constitution. So he was studying at age 14. At age 15, he went to Morehouse College. He finished college at age 19. He finished seminary at age 22. He had his PhD at age 26. and leading the nation at age 26. He was killed at age 39. So for him, middle age was 19 and a half. He didn't have time to waste time. He made, said Dr. King, made the most and the best of his time. In his short time, he changed the world. You have the power to change the world. Whenever, talk to me, so whenever young America comes alive, we have the power to change the world. In 1954, when schools were segregated by race, a young girl, Linda Brown, and her dad went to school. They were turned away, and the 54 Supreme Court decision changed schools forever because a young girl came alive. In 57, young people in Little Rock, Arkansas marched with the aid of the National Guard. Young people came alive. You now have the right to vote because young people came alive. Today, President Barack Obama is the result of those 54 years. Say, President Obama is the result of 54 years of work and labor and process. Let me ask you this question. How many of you are 18 now or will be 18 by November of this year? Stand. You're either 18 now or will be by November of this stand. You're 18 now or you'll be 18 by November. Stand. Stand. If you're 18 now or you'll be 18 by November of this year, stand. If you're age 18 now, stand. Please stand. You're age 18 now, stand. You'll be 18 by November of this year, stand. Keep standing. You keep standing. Keep standing. Keep standing. If you're 18 now, please stand. You'll be 18 by November of this year, please stand.
And Ms. Martin, you can make a choice for each student or law each student run. If I want to have Trayvon Martin only registered voters can serve on juries, right? And you was telling you was telling come right down right now. You was telling right now. Come on, you was the 18th month and right to take all of 5 minutes. Come on, if you're 18 now, come on. You're 18 years old, come on.
You can jump up or come up.
Come on. All the time, registration application for sign up. Nice. So, you're going to get a you were sign up. I want you to register, to vote, I will register, and vote today. I will use my vote. So I will use my vote to make a difference. So we got that around.
It's good, it's good.
Give them a hand. Because, say because, Dr. King lived and died because President Obama is in the White House. I now have the power to register and vote and determine the course.
We have everybody, right? Does everybody have an application to vote? Livonia, does everybody have an application? Does everybody have an application?
Yeah,
most of these guys are.
have applications. Have applications and all the forms. Mr. Brown, just
Yeah. Get a quick photo and we're out of here. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend.
Can we give these students a hand and thank Reverend Jackson?
So found my way to the auto industry, and the auto industry has provided a lot of great things for me. Right now I work on corporate social responsibility, which means I kind of be an ambassador for the company and speak about the good things that Hyundai Motor America does. One thing about today is that you'll have access to a lot of knowledge and a lot of information that some won't have. And I think it's unrealistic to say that everybody in this room will end up in the auto industry. However, if maybe 1, 2, 5, 10 of you do, then there's an opportunity for you or maybe you to now be on this stage 5, 6, 10 years from now and share your experience with people who are in high school with students.
Is Bart and the Vice President of Sodexo. Would you please join me, please?
Thank you. It's good to be back. You guys have a beautiful school here. It's so proud to be part of it. I have to thank Jesse Jackson and his staff for allowing Sodexo to be a part of this. This is a real honor for us. And I know that this is an automotive summit. I know this is. I didn't tell you that Sodexo has lots of opportunities for bright young people as well. And I always tell the story, especially here at Cass Tech, the president, and yes, I said the president of our school's division is a Cass Tech grad. He went off to Harvard, got a little bit of an education, came back and went to work for Ford Motor Company, and then found his way to Sodexo about 8 years ago to lead our education division. So as you go through the career day today, and you're going to meet a lot of wonderful people and see a lot of things, keep Sodexo in mind because we have a lot of opportunities. We employ 125,000 people across the country, 350,000 people across the globe, working in all kinds of professional and technical fields. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And we also have a very strong belief in education and excellence, and you represent that. I'm getting towards the end of my career, believe it or not. Don't let the gray hair fool you. And when I've met a lot of students within this school, and I know our future is in good hands with all of you. So enjoy the day, and just enjoy all of the panels and the speakers because they're going to impart some pretty important knowledge to you. Have a great day.
Anybody? Okay, we're going to talk about money later. Nobody is going to leave out of this school without having at least 5 avenues of income while you're in school. So that's the one thing I'm going to leave with. But who wants this? Okay. I'm not going to throw it. I'm not going to make it rain. I'm not going to do that like that. You guys are crazy with doing that. Okay. Who in here wants it now? You still want this money? Okay. Now, who still wants this money? Okay, tell me why you still want it. Okay, because it's still, wait a minute. What did somebody say? Who said that? Okay, raise up. Who still wants this money? Why? Okay, she said it first. Okay. I heard her say it first. Everybody's like, because it's money, because it's money, because it's money. And 2 people said it could still have value. So I know, I heard you. What's your name? Huh? What's your name? I'm gonna give you something, but you're the first person I heard say it here. What's your name? Charlize, what school? What school? What school you go? You're from Cass Tech. Okay. What school you from? Cass. Okay, I'll give you guys both something. I gotta get out my purse. So, okay, you're from. Oh, you guys from Cass who won? Okay. the thing is, it still has the same value. So no matter what you go through in your life, you still have, whether you're stomped on, whether you're crushed, whether you're crumbled, you still have the same value. Now, I want to tell you, I want everybody in here to get a job before they leave, to get an internship, to get a scholarship, to learn how to make money. But the one thing I want you to remember, and I'm going to sound like the Reverend now, because I do want you to repeat after me with this, is don't ever love anything that can't love you back. Money cannot love you back. So say, okay. So just say, don't ever love anything that can't love you back. So we got a panel today of people who love you. Here's your money. Here's your money, honey. Can you pass this to her? Okay. Okay, pass it to her. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start out today with a panel of people who love to give back. And the reason they're here, everybody took off of work today just to come here to help you. So that's why I want you to give them your undivided attention. Who has their resumes? Resumes. Who has their resumes, business cards? Who in here has them? Not with you. So you came to get out of school and you didn't even bring your resume? Okay, I want everybody in here to be prepared for an opportunity. The reason everybody's here today is so you would never be poor. And let me tell you what poor means. Poor means passed over opportunity repeatedly. So the one thing is they want to make sure you are never, ever, ever passed over. So we're going to start today with 3 words that describe their journey in the automotive industry. Who in here, what kind of car you want? Maserati? Anybody? Who in here wants a Bentley? You don't want Bentley, you want Maserati. Okay, you got to work at it. We're going to talk about cars and how they are made. So that's what we're going to talk about. But we're going to start out with 3 words that describe their journey. And what they're going to do is they're going to mention 3 words that describe their journey so it can make it quick and fast. And you can ask questions after we get this quick presentation. Now I'm going to give out my 3 words that describe my journey. I'm Senior Director of Investments, but my 3 words that described it are broke, determined, and serving. That's my 3 words that describe my journey. Now I'm going to start out, and you know what? We might as well go down the line and just say your name and how your 3 words that describe your journey. Is it on?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Lauren James. My 3 words would be unconventional, humbling, and exciting.
Did everybody hear that? Okay, give them a round. Isn't that awesome?
Good morning. My name is Sandra Marion, and my 3 words would be challenging, continuous growth, and gratification.
Good morning. My name is Joy Harris, and I would describe my journey as long, very difficult, but blessed.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Bino, and my 3 words would be curious, fun, and determined.
Good morning. I'm Angela Spencer Ford, and I would say my 3 words are diversified, committed, and creative.
Good morning, I'm Joycelyn Allen, and the 3 words to describe my journey are God's divine intervention.
Good morning, my name is Leon Richardson, and my 3 words are very, very hard.
Good morning, I'm Brian Baker from the College for Creative Studies. Creative, car guy, using that as 1 word, and educator.
Okay, you got to come up to the podium. Come on up, Brian. Okay, I want you guys to think of 3 words that describes your journey. And while Brian's getting ready for a presentation, I want everybody here to close their eyes just for 2 minutes or 1 minute. Don't fall asleep, though. Close your eyes. And think of your 3 words of your journey, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? Just for a minute, while Brian's getting ready for his presentation. Okay, I heard one good word. Okay, and I want resumes. Before I leave today, I need to get the people who have their resumes, because I always hire people.
This is John Pielmeyer. I don't know what John's doing today, but he always ratted me out because I was doing stuff at my desk that I'm not paying close enough attention to the teacher. Next, please. That's me. I was a nerd, yeah, but I drew well, and everybody loved the fact that I could draw. I always had friends coming up to me in the playground saying, "Will you draw this for me? Draw that for me." Those of you who draw, you know what it's like. Next, please. This is where I worked. They used to have these old desks. You guys are lucky enough you don't have these anymore, but that little folding top was great because I could lift the back edge of my desk and be sketching while paying attention to the teacher. And next, please. I'd be making things, and this is Mrs. Bolden's drawer up at the teacher's desk. This is where most of my artwork ended up because she'd bust me while I was sketching, you know? Next. This is what I would make. I'd do little car sketches like the stuff up there, and this paper car is just a piece of my notebook paper rolled up, and magic markers were a new thing when I was a kid, so we were like doing flame paint jobs and stuff. I'd make these race cars. I'd bring the wheels from home off of my toy cars, and if I got away with it, if I made it to recess without Mrs. Bolden catching me, I took my race cars to the racetrack. Here's my racetrack. Big slide. That was a great racetrack, man. We'd all rush up, get 2 of us up that little skinny ladder and run our race cars down the track. But the passion for cars was there. I kept drawing and sketching. Next, please. And by the time I got to high school, this is the way I was known as the baker, my last name is Baker, so that was this is what I wanted to have. And actually I ended up buying one of those cars when I got a little older. Go on. A little bit of paint, things to make the car look realistic. Again, my ideas, original ideas. I wasn't just drawing cars I saw on the street anymore, I was drawing ideas in my head. Next please. And by my senior year, this was what I built. It was a full-size fiberglass race car, what I thought an Indy car would look like by the year 20.
Most of the screen.
I did this back in 1984. I don't know if we're going to make it, but it was a lot of fun. And I got to the job that I dreamed of having. I worked for General Motors as a stylist for 25 years. Thank you. I did the race car, we were humming inside the body. All right. Automobile designers, industrial designers. My degree is in industrial design. If you want to be a stylist, if you want to be a designer, don't go to engineering school. You got to go to a design college. You got to get a degree in industrial design. This is where my high school counselors failed me, quite honestly. They didn't know where to send me. It took a lot of calling around. Finally, Ford Motor Company pointed me in the right direction. Thank you, Ford. We have a member on the panel, I think. Who's the most famous designer? Well, here's who's, in the movies, the world's most famous automotive designer. Next. Morgan Freeman. Hands down. You know why? Advance the slide, please. Morgan is the private industrial designer for this guy, Batman. He designs cars. He designs tools for crime fighting. That's what an industrial designer does. You solve problems. He helps Batman solve problems. Next, please. This is the kind of stuff Morgan Freeman's character gets to design. Bat belts and claws, and there's the tumbler and the bat cycle there. Fun job. The real thing isn't quite as exotic as the movies, but it's close. It's a lot of fun. Next, please.
All right, what do designers do? Let's go on. You got to learn to draw really well. Any idea that's in your head, you need to be able to put down on paper, on the computer screen. You got to work with clay modelers. You got to work with the engineering department. My degree gives me a half engineering degree, half art degree. It's a little art, it's a lot of engineering. But you got to be able to think of original ideas, not what you see on the street, but what might be out there 5, 6 years from now. Next, please. And I doodle. I do lots and lots of hours of just take a pen, sketch, three-wheeled contraptions, Jeeps, muscle cars, exotic cars. Let's go on. Next, please. Yeah. Let's go on. So after I do pen sketches, then I got to do pretty pictures of them. This one's magic marker and chalk and some black spray paint, trying to envision what cars of the future would look like. So you put them in realistic settings. I call this one Trip to Somerset. Let's go on. Next. Sometimes you got to do them kind of dark and mysterious. This was an old Cadillac rendering, and I call it high-tech traffic jam because it's got a shuttle and a spy plane in the background of it. Next. Sometimes it's fun stuff like a Corvette race car. This was an idea for a single-seater Corvette. Fun stuff. Next. Then you get to do concept cars. This was my specialty in my 25 years at GM. These are all concept cars that I worked on. GTO concept up there, a Pontiac concept that never made it to production over there, a Buick down here, and the one I'm most proud of in the bottom right. I was the lead designer on the Chevrolet SSR, that retro pickup truck we made a few years ago. Let's go on. Sometimes you get to do supercars. For a brief period, General Motors owned Lotus, the British supercar maker, and got to design what we thought future Lotuses would look like. So you can't think just of the US, you got to think the whole planet. Next. I was lucky enough to go overseas and work in Europe for a while. Designers design the interior of the vehicle as well. Now you can specialize and just do interiors or just exteriors, but the best designers do both. Next. Then you get to go to the auto show and show off what you can do. You take your concept car, you go and you represent. You got to take, sometimes you get to go overseas, sometimes it's right here in our own city. Next, please. Then you get to get back to your roots. Again, being a kid from Indianapolis, racing was always big for me. I got to work, I did some work for some of the NASCAR teams as well. Next. I got to do some television work. Occasionally, if you're watching Discovery Channel late at night, you'll see my face. A series called Future Car, where we talked about how we train designers of the future, guys like you. Go on. But mostly I designed, and it's thousands and thousands of sketches. If you remember nothing from my presentation today, just remember that it takes the discipline of doing 10,000 sketches before you're a pro. That's what I tell my freshmen up at the college. If I could buy you a stack of 10,000 sheets of paper and say, just keep drawing. When you finish that, then we'll take a look. Next. Some more Cadillac ideas, sports cars, such. Next. But this, I mentioned, was the one I'm the most proud of. That little sketch on the right over there was one I did sitting in a very dull meeting. Now, I've learned, and what I teach my students is you have to be able to sketch and listen at the same time. I'm still getting in trouble for what I did in 6th grade, sketching while I was supposed to be listening, but now I get paid for it. Here's the Chevy SSR, the way we designed it as a concept. There's a younger bearded version of me down there too. Anyway, let's move on. That is the joy. If you want to know what makes getting into my side of the auto business so exciting, the first time you're driving down Woodward Avenue and you see a car that you designed driving towards you. Sends chills down your spine. It's amazing. I was lucky enough to get a patent while I was there on this two-piece disappearing hardtop roof mechanism. So it's not just doing pretty pictures. You got to work with the engineering community and see your dreams all the way through. Go on. I spent a lot of time up at the college teaching high school students. I was looking for see if I saw any familiar faces today. In the summers, I teach high school students how to design cars. These are some of my students from this past summer. If you come to the college in the summer program, or I work with the community arts partnership from the college, we go to area high schools, we teach you how to design cars right here at the school. Go on. As a matter of fact, I'm starting a program in about 2 weeks to design a new Batmobile. I decided to take on Morgan Freeman's job. I want to design a Batmobile with the students. So we're going to have fun with a bunch of high school students at the Henry Ford Academy there at the college designing Batmobiles. Okay? As a designer, you've got to respect the past. You've got to know what was done in the past that was great. The future does not begin with you. You've got to know what was done great in the past, but you also have to, let's go on, you got to envision the future. What a car is going to look like 50 years from now. What's personal transportation going to be like? Notice I didn't say cars, 150 years from now. We are the visual futurists. We're the tailors of the car companies. We're the ones who bring ideas to life. And I got to tell you, I did it at General Motors for 25 years. Now I'm teaching the next generation of designers. And I hope all of you, let's go on. I hope all of you get a chance to drive your dreams. Thank you for your attention.
Anybody in here want to go into engineering or designing cars? Anyone? Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Anybody here want a scholarship? Anybody here want a job? Okay, anybody want to start their own business? We're going to talk about it all. You will not leave here without all of that. That's going to be our mission for today, okay? With opportunity, all right? Okay, I want to start out with Joy Harris. She is the director of Southeast Michigan Gas, which is, everybody had lights on, DTE. Okay, and the reason why DTE and energy, everybody, do you know cars, you can plug them in now? The energy efficient, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I want to start with you. I want you to come to the podium. You can talk from here. And what we're going to do is we're going to all talk just for a few minutes, and you're going to ask questions. You can ask anything you want, okay? But I just want to start out with you getting to know them. So Joy, you want to go ahead and get started? Sure. Okay, thank you. I'm going to leave it up here if you want me to. Yeah, give a round of applause. And wait a minute, did you guys gave Mr. Bryan a round of applause, didn't you? Give him another one. There you go. One day, you're going to be like him. Okay.
Good morning. Oh, good morning. Wake up. Good, good. See, I work for an energy company, so I'm looking for energy from this crowd. So, no, I don't work in the automotive industry, but I'm an enabler. The products that we deliver, the energy that we deliver, serves the factories, the designers, the engineers, all the folks that are working to put the car together. And the other thing that we do at our company is, as the automotive industry pursues alternative energy, we have to provide it. So we have to work with them to make sure that the technology is available. So when you want to plug your car in for your hybrid, it works. We also are working with the automotive industry on natural gas vehicles. And you say, why? Why are we seeking natural gas vehicles? Because it's clean burning, it's abundant, and it's American. It's right here. So my job as an operations director is to make sure that the energy continues to flow to all of my partners here in the automotive industry. And you want to ask, well, how did I get started? When Gail asked me about my 3 words, I said long, not because I'm old, but because my journey actually started when I was 15 years old. Not much younger than you all, not much older than you all are now. And I actually shadowed a group of engineers that worked for DTE At the time, the two companies were separate. It was Mishcon and Detroit Edison. So at 15, I worked with a group of engineers for an entire semester. And what impressed me most is about what they did. They enjoyed doing it. They had passion about the work they performed every day. It wasn't just a job. It's something that they had passion about. And guess what? Some of those people are still working at the company today. So my challenge to you is to find your passion. Maybe it is designing, engineering, technology. Maybe it's not in the automotive industry, but find your passion, something that you can make a living at, hopefully, but something that inspires you, that you want to do every day, and you want to get better at each and every day. I actually am an engineer. I graduated from the great Wayne State University just down the road, and I also pursued a master's degree at Wayne State. So do we have anybody from Wayne State here? Anybody? Anyone? Anyone? A few? Thank you. It wasn't called the Warriors. It wasn't called the Warriors when I went to Wayne. It was actually the Tartars. I don't know what that was supposed to be. I too have young people that live in my household. I have 4 children. I have 2 in college, and I have 1 that is getting ready to go to college, similar to some of you, and then I have a younger son who's 12. And my son, that's Kyle, who's getting ready to go to college, and I told my daughter the same thing. He had trouble figuring out, well, what do I want to do? I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not sure what I want to major in. And my coaching to him was, play to your strengths. What do you like? I tried to expose him to some of the same opportunities that I had. Shadow, ask questions, talk to your counselors, right? So when I started this morning, I wanted to say something that was so inspiring. But you all have heard all of this before, I'm sure. I'm sure. But what I'm going to tell you is this about your choice. What you choose to do with the talents that you have. And with that, I'll open it up to you all to ask a question. Okay. Varian? Anyone? Anyone? All right. Thank you.
She's an engineer. If you saw her walking down the street, you would not think she's an engineer. So, not the engineer. Didn't she look pretty? And have 4 kids. Isn't she beautiful? Give her a round of applause. I think she did a great job. Okay, the next person we're going to bring up is LaRon James from James Group International. He's a young man and young enough to be my son, but he works for his dad. I think what the best honor in the entire world is to go to college, work hard, and then have an opportunity to work for your father. I think that is so awesome. And you're the best parents in the world. I know they just did such a great job with you and your brother, right? And sister, 3 kids. Okay. Well, come on up. Come on up and talk a little bit.
Good morning, everyone. It wasn't that long ago that I was in your seats. One of the words that I used for my 3 words was unconventional. There's really no exact path or way to get to a position anywhere, really. I think the best way for me to start off is just telling you a little bit about myself and my journey. I graduated from Brother Rice High School in Bloomfield Hills, and after that I went to Arizona State University in Phoenix, Arizona. I was fortunate enough to play football out there. I was a wide receiver. Any athletes in the crowd? Any athletes? Football players? All right, okay, all right, very nice. After deciding to stop playing football at the end of a few years, I wanted to get some more work experience. I learned that as fun as football was to play, I wanted to come back from school with something that no one could take away from me, which was a degree in business. I went to the W.B. Carey School of Business within Arizona State, and I got a minor in communications. I actually worked for the Arizona Diamondbacks baseball team. Anybody familiar with the Diamondbacks? Okay, they're in the National League West. I was in community affairs and marketing for them for 3 seasons. We did a lot of work with the players on and off the field, which was a lot of fun. Back in 2007, I decided to move back to Detroit and work with my father's company. I didn't start off where I am right now. I started off as a marketing and sales manager, and my father's pretty old school. He celebrated his 71st birthday a few weeks ago, and I guess my mentality was to kind of come into, the company, and I guess everyone knew who I was, and I would have this big office, or I'd have these cards, and the first thing my father did was stuck me in the smallest cubicle in the building, and he let me run my own operation in the cold, the wintertime. So I went through being a marketing and sales manager to a business development manager to the director of supply chain management, now to my current role as vice president. That role will probably change here in the next few weeks again as he kind of goes into retirement. He probably will never retire fully, but he's taken a few steps back. My brother, John, went to West Point Military Academy. He was an Apache helicopter pilot in Baghdad, Iraq for 18 months. He's an Army Ranger, went through Air Assault School, and he decided to come back to Detroit as well to be over the operations side. So he's over the operations side, and I'm over the business affairs side. So I get to do a lot of fun things like this to where he's a little bit more tactical on the operations side. Our business, James Group International, is a holding company. The subsidiary Renaissance Global Logistics, we export car parts for Ford Motor Company, and we ship them all over the world for the final assembly in that respective country. We ship parts to 16 different countries around the world. We also do various work for General Motors, customer care and after sales, and we do the tire and wheel assembly for the Toyota Corolla in the Blue Springs, Mississippi plant. We're also very involved in transportation in the Southwest Detroit area as a whole. We're very excited that hopefully the NITC bridge will be built. We have land right on Detroit's waterfront, and we're excited to get that back up and going. I see this as a very, very exciting time for our city, and you are all at the forefront of it. We hit a little pit, and now we're on the rise, and you guys are going to be a part of that. So I hope that you all continue to work very hard. I really appreciate your time. It's never easy to come and sit and listen to people talk at you. Again, I'm not very far removed from where you are right now. Some of you are tired, some of you are sleeping, some of you are talking. I know how it goes. But I ask you to give everyone up here who's talking your full and undivided attention, because everyone up here has taken time out of their day to be here, and you should respect them like we're respecting you. So that's all I want to say. If you have any questions about my journey or what I've done to get here, I'm 29 years old. I'll be 30 in April, and I'm doing as much as I can for the city right now. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You guys are awesome, because I couldn't just sit still. I'm sorry. I'm trying to walk around here to see if I can give you tickets to a concert. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell everybody here how to go to a concert for free, how to go to the movies for free, how to sit in the front row, and how to get paid to go to concerts. What's the next concert coming up? Which one? Jeezy? Okay. What I'm going to do is, because, I can't really, which one? Rihanna? Rihanna, where's Rihanna going to be? Trey Songz? Okay, I'm going to get you guys, I was trying to walk around and get you guys prizes, but I got to just tell you how to go to concerts for free, and I want you guys to win some money because you guys are so awesome for sitting down, listening. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to shorten everybody's talk to 3 minutes. You can ask questions, and I'm going to tell you how to go to concerts for free and how to get paid to go to concerts and do all that, okay? And go to movies for free. That's going to be my goal, because I just think you guys are awesome. You are. But anyway, you're great. Thank you. Okay. We're going to have, the next person is going to come up. She is a plant manager. Her name is Sandra. But let me tell you, she hires people right out of high school. So I want you to talk to her. You hire you? Okay. You said hire you? Did you say hire you? Anyway, come on up. Come on up, Sandra. So talk to her, too, when you get finished on how to get a job. So, okay, go ahead. We're going to limit everybody to 3 minutes.
Okay, good morning. I'll be short. I know you guys are probably tired of sitting. And in fact, when I have meetings in my plant, I usually have people stand up and shake it out when they've been sitting so long. So feel free to stand up and shake it out because you've been sitting a long time. and I'll talk while you're stretching. Okay. I am the plant manager of a facility in Detroit. It is a new joint venture, and it is a really exciting venture that we have in Detroit. We're actually building instrument panels for most of Ford's vehicles here in the U.S., right here in Detroit. So the company is a startup. We moved into a building that was an old warehouse. There was nothing there, and right now, we are producing instrument panels and cockpits for Ford Mustang. We're going to do Navigator Expedition. We're going to do F-150. We're going to do Focus. We're going to do Taurus Explorer. So right here in Detroit, we're building a key component for Ford Interiors. As for me, how did I get to be a plant manager? When I talked about my 3 words, I said challenging. And I've always taken on challenging assignments. So I would encourage you, don't be afraid to take hard assignments. Along the way in my career, I always took the toughest assignments. And then my second word was continuous growth. As I took on challenging assignments, I was always learning new things. And then my last word was gratification, because I get a tremendous amount of gratification in succeeding in difficult and challenging assignments. So I can tell you that if you stretch yourself and take on challenging assignments, you'll grow from it, you'll learn, and you'll get satisfaction and gratification. I'll be here to answer any questions at the end when all the speakers talk.
Perfect. That was awesome. We're going to have Mr. Richardson, Leon Richardson. He's going to come. He's a president and a CEO. The person, yeah. You know, the person you really want to know and the person...
A lot of things written about the company, a lot of things written about me. So remember that name, Chemical Maze. If you're really interested, go out and Google it. Google my name. You'll see some of the fantastic things that the company has done, and quite frankly, I've done. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you prepare to do some of the things that we've done. And there's a lot of people that will talk to you about luck and how luck has some impact on what happens in your life. And I'm not 100% sure I believe in it in that manner. I actually think that when you have opportunity and preparation, and something appears that you want to go after, that's good luck. When you're not prepared and something presents itself, that's considered bad luck. So let me tell you a little bit of story about how I got started. I spent a little time in the United States Marine Corps, and after spending time traveling around the world, leading men and women into dangerous situations, I decided to leave and pursue my academic career in business. Went to the University of Maryland, and then was recruited to come and work for a chemical company here in Detroit, Michigan. Quite frankly, in the automotive industry, there weren't a lot of African Americans that were ascending to leadership ranks. So I had the opportunity to get involved with this company, and they started me out in the laboratory. Didn't think I was going to learn about chemistry, but I took 2 semesters of organic chemistry, and I worked in the laboratory as a technician. I learned everything about formulating chemistry, and then they moved me into manufacturing. Once I learned how to formulate chemicals, and I learned how to make chemicals, they finally let me get involved in sales. They gave me, and I was the only, unfortunately, African-American who had ever worked for this company, and certainly no one of my complexion had ever worked in sales representing this organization. They gave me one of the toughest plants, the toughest assignments this company's ever had. It was the Willow Run Assembly Plant. At that time, they were in the process of converting this plant from making one vehicle to another vehicle, and we had to clean the recirculation system, how we deliver paint to the vehicle. It was a $500,000 job, and my commission at 27 years old was 10% of that job. You guys are high school students, you know what that means. $50,000 is what I would be paid for this job. In the middle of the job, they decided that I was going to need some assistance to help me with this job, so they added 2 other engineers to work with me on this process. And at the end of the process, job was done, customer paid. They gave me a $25,000 commission check, but I should have got a $50,000 commission check. And I was extremely frustrated by that. But I was prepared, and I looked at this opportunity, and I said, you know what, I'm going to leave this company. And I learned how to formulate chemicals. I learned how to make chemicals. I learned how to sell and deliver chemicals and add value. And after that, I said, you know what, I can start my own company. All they gave me was a business card. I can produce a business card, and I can read, I can write, and I can formulate. So I started this little company called Chemico Systems. Soon thereafter, we became one of the leading chemical suppliers to the automotive industry. This company asked me to be a sales representative for them. Now keep in mind what happened. This is the company that took advantage of me on a commission check, and they came back and asked me to help them. So I did. And we became a sales agent for this company. After about a year and a half, $1.5 million. Significant amount of money for us. So they decided to go to bankruptcy and not try to pay us. We turned around and worked with our bankruptcy attorneys, and this company had been in business for 65 years. I bought that company. Process. The people that own this company, 65-year-old family-owned business, I was really working hard, and I didn't get along with a lot of the other sales guys. They would goof off all the time, and having a military background, being prepared for this opportunity, I said I'm going to work as hard as I could, and I became a leading sales guy, and the other guys hated me. So the president of the company came to me and said, Leon, we like you a lot, but you'll never, ever be the president of this company. The best you'll ever be is a sales guy. I was 27 years old, making $70,000, $80,000 a year. I said, fine, I'll be a great sales guy, until they took advantage of this commission check. When I turned around and bought that company, that president who told me I'd never be anything but a sales guy, I kept him on as my vice president. And I thought there was somebody had to get lucky. So we kept him around for most of that and some other things there, and he stayed until he finally retired. What I just described to you, ladies and gentlemen, is preparation and opportunity. And that's what I challenge you all to do today. As you go through your academic studies, prepare yourself for opportunity that will appear, and you can take advantage of it. Thank you very much.
She works very hard, and she's amazing. You are
Hi, everybody. I'm not a posting person, and I like to sit down, so I hope you don't mind. If I need your help getting back up, you'll help me. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, how many of you would love to meet Drake? You would love my job, and I love my job. So let me kind of go back. I work for an advertising agency, and I do marketing and public relations and events, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Let me go back a little bit. When I went to college, I wanted to be an advertiser, and I had an advisor that told me, you really won't be able to get a job in advertising because there's really no blacks in advertising. So it's not a career to go into. I went into marketing anyway, got out of school, couldn't get a job in marketing, but I got a job in public relations. Well, similar, okay, so I went with it. So as I started doing it and I got positions in PR, I was like, you know what, I really need to learn this stuff a little bit better than just kind of winging it. So then I went back to school and got my master's degree in public relations. So at that point in time, when I got out of school, I really wanted to work with Chrysler. The reason why was my grandfather started out as a janitor at Chrysler. He was one of the first black managers at Chrysler. My dad worked in the prototype at Chrysler. Every car I've ever driven has been a Chrysler product. So it was just in my genes, in my blood. I was like, I want to work for Chrysler. Couldn't get a job at Chrysler. So I kept going through my career, whatever. And then probably about, I say like 12 years ago now, Chrysler called me and said, hey, you know you've been trying to get in here. I had met some people within their department. They was like, why don't you come in for an interview? Got hired in at Chrysler. It took a while, but I was persistent. I built relationships with people I wanted to meet and know, and I kept those relationships over the years, just called periodically when I run into them, hey, you want to have lunch, things like that. I got a chance to work on some great programs. I did PR events for diversity. So it was multicultural, it was African American, Hispanic, Asian, and I had a ball. So while I was there, a company called Global Hue, where I work now, which is one of the largest multicultural advertising agencies in the country. So we have all of the Chrysler brands to you. How they can get you to want to buy their brand. How they can get your parents to want to buy their brand. And in the midst of that, we oftentimes use influencers like a Kevin Hart, Or, you know, we might use a Terrence Howard. We partner with films, like we did partner with Red Tails and things like that. So it's really cool that there's an opportunity to come up with ideas of how you sell the things that you buy. So how you sell, you know, the iPhones and the things that Verizon, wireless, how do you reach your peers? How do you sell something to your friends? And so that's really cool to come up with those type of ideas. And the irony in all of this is that I am now in an advertising agency that is a Black-owned advertising agency that this advisor told me, don't go into advertising, you never will be able to be there because that's just not a field where Blacks can aspire to. So I'm living my dream. I absolutely love what I do. I love the people I meet, the stories, and it's just fun. It's just really cool. So that's my job.
And she is the best mom, and I was going to do a call for helping you out. If something happens, you need an internship or whatever, this is one of the best things you've ever wanted to meet. And she's met great, she's met all the people who talk about everyone else. So, yes, and now I want to introduce who's next. Kevin.
Kevin is also, a matter of fact, I want, and Joycelyn, do you mind going last? Joycelyn, you mind going last? You mind going last? So do the tail end? Okay. Kevin is awesome. Also, he's in planning and strategy, and he's with Carol Williams Advertising. So these are two advertisers right here. That's where we're trying to show you everything from the engineers to the plant manager to the suppliers to the advertisers. And then, so Kevin, come on up. He's awesome. Go ahead. Give him a round of applause.
Good morning. It's so nice to be here with you guys.
Joke like Kevin Hart.
I wish, I'm not that good. But yes, my name is Kevin Bino. I'm with the Carol H. Williams Advertising, and like Angela, we are in the industry that I love. I started out wanting always to be in the automotive industry. My buddies, they had Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan on their walls. I had pictures of Nissans and Datsuns and Bugattis and stuff like that. So that was my thing. Who in here plays basketball? All right, my man right here. What's your favorite brand? What kind of shoes do you wear? Nikes. All right, good. I'm gonna give you a concept for a product, and you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you want to use it. All right. All right. I'm gonna give you a product that is 6 pieces of leather, some string, a couple pieces of rubber sewn together in some suspect place in the Far East, and I'm gonna sell it to you for $400. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Now, let me flip the script a little bit. I'm gonna give you a product that's gonna allow you to run longer, to jump higher. That's gonna give you the confidence to actually make that charge, take that charge. Is that something that sounds interesting to you? Yeah, okay. That's advertising. Advertising makes meaning, creates meaning for products and services. And my question here is, why would someone spend $1 million on a car? That's how much a Bugatti costs. Or better yet, why would someone spend $500 on a pen? On a pen, yeah. From the right way. They do. There's a company called Mont Blanc. And for them, they create meaning by saying, in their mind, writing is an art. And what you do with that art, you need the right instrument for that. That's how they sell their pens. So, the next question I have for you is, who creates that meaning? And what Angela said is that her guidance counselor told her that there weren't blacks in advertising. I'm here to tell you that if you are creative, if you like photography, if you like music, if you do hairstyling, if you do makeup, those are all industries or all jobs in advertising that we need you in. Because I'm a little tired of walking in the room and being the only one. So I'm actually going to give you guys an open invitation right now. If you make beats, if you do comedy, if you do photography, if you do hair, if you do makeup, if you do wardrobe, you can work in advertising. Not 10 years from now, right now. If you're good at what you do and you practice your craft and you become that specialized and you can do makeup and you can do hair and you can fix a wardrobe, you can draw, you can paint, you can sculpt, you can be an advertiser. So, anyone, you guys taking notes? I'm gonna give you, there's an organization called MAPE. It's called Multicultural Ad Intern Program. Something you guys need to know. If you guys are interested in advertising, write that down, look it up on Google, and find out who your representative is in Detroit. MAPE, M-A-I-P, Multicultural Advertising Intern Program. So let's talk a little bit about, what advertising, the elements, if you will. First thing is like the nuts and bolts of it, it's operations. And I'll give you a quick story. We have lawyers in advertising. So if you're into law, into the legal thing and you want to be a lawyer, you can be in advertising too. All right, my client, I'm very proud to be, a representative of General Motors. We have Buick and GMC as our client. They did a fabulous ad about 2 years ago. It was a picture of Einstein, but it was reinvented. Einstein was buff. He had muscles. He had a nice little cut. He had a tat on his shoulder that had E = MC squared on it. It was dope. But guess what? They got sued because the people that own Einstein's estate says that's not the right use of his image. So the lawyers had to step in and say, this is not disparaging. This is something that's helping you guys' estate. Blah blah blah. They had to settle it. The second part is the designers. We talked about this just a minute ago. The designers, the musicians, the illustrators, like Brian mentioned and like Angela mentioned. All these people that come together to create a television ad on TV or on print, on billboards, or in magazines, or ringtones on your cell phone. Those are all part of the industry. And then there's the part that I work in, the strategy part. So before all the creative stuff gets done, we need to understand what to say and how to say it and when to say it. And that's the role that I have. We do research, we talk to people like you, we understand what you like, what you don't like, and from there we determine, all right, what's the best message that's gonna motivate you to tell your mom, hey, I wanna buy Captain Crunch instead of Frosted Flakes. So in all that, our goal, here today is to open up the world of advertising to you a little bit, to give you a little window into what we do. And I have to tell you, I love my job. I love coming to work every day. My day is never the same. Sometimes I could be on a racetrack driving the cars. Some days I could be on a photo shoot. Some days we could be sitting next to Beyonce. It just depends. So, but it is what you make it. And with that, thank you guys very much, and we'll happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
and then I got my master's degree from Wayne State. I had an opportunity, thank you. I also taught last semester a graduate class at Wayne State. I had an opportunity to work for Entertainment Tonight while I was also going to college. It was an amazing opportunity. I'll talk in a minute about some of the people I met while I was there. Also worked at WDIV, Channel 4 here in Detroit for about 4.5 years as a director, card-carrying member of the Directors Guild of America. And then another thing that I've done, my background is really video and TV production, and I've had an opportunity to work with a number of people. And one of the things I did that was amazing here was about 10, 11 years ago, Detroit turned 300. And they had a really huge celebration for the Detroit 300, and I got to be the major stage manager for that. And that means you tell everybody all the acts where to go. And I got to meet some amazing people, and that's just a picture. If you squint really hard and stand on one leg and look to the side, you can see Stevie Wonder behind me on the piano. Next slide, please. Oh, wait, you want to see it? Who's up there? Sorry. So what am I doing now? As Director of Regional Grassroots and Diversity for Communications for GM, that's a lot to say. I get to do a number of things. I am the PR Director for General Motors for North America. So what that means is there's not a thing that happens at General Motors in North America that my team doesn't touch. There's not an auto show, there's not a recall, there's not a plant issue, there's nothing that happens in North America that my team is not responsible for. And I've got a team across the country in 7 different locations, and this is just a look at who some of those folks are. Next, please. Also, I think it's really important when God has blessed you to give back. So about 12 years ago, I started an organization called Divas for Life. It's for young girls ages 8 to 18. We work on mentoring. We do a lot around career shadowing, a lot around etiquette, because every young girl will grow into a woman, but not every young girl grows into a lady. So we teach them things about how to walk, how to respect yourself. So again, that's something that's very important to me. I have now graduated my 3rd class of young ladies from high school, and I've got 100% graduation rate. Nothing is more important to me than my family. I am the mother of a 20-year-old Michael, and then my mother and my father. So nothing's more important to me, because at the end of a hard day, when the world tells me I can't, these are the people who tell me I can't. Next, please. So we talked to Angela for a moment about some of the people she's met, and in our careers we get to meet some amazing people. Actually, you can push through now. There's some pictures that are going to come up. Just to look at some of the people I've had a chance to meet over my life. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hung out with him on the beach in Miami. There's not an X-rated story there, trust me. I won an award and had a chance to meet him. Obviously, Reverend Jackson, have had numerous opportunities to meet and work with Reverend Jackson. Please keep going through the pictures. There's some more. LL Cool J. As hot a person as you think. Tyra Banks, not the best ever me. Will Smith. It's been a whole evening with Will and Jada. I gotta tell you, some really amazing and wonderful people who are giving back. And then for those of you who might not know, 2 people actually are in this picture. Marcus Samuelson is in the middle. If you know anything about Food Network or anything like that, Top Chef. He's a chef. He's got a restaurant in Harlem called Red Rooster. And then if anybody listens to WJLB in the mornings, Flo, Gossip to Go with Flo. So real quick, again, I've had an amazing career so far, and I've probably got another 25 years to go in it. This is just a look at some of my top 10 career moments. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but a couple of them I'll mention to you. How many of you know who Maya Angelou is? Okay. While I was working at Entertainment Tonight, one of the things they asked me to do, because I was the only black girl on the staff, so if anybody black came to Washington, because I was working in the Washington Bureau, they would automatically put me on it, which was fine with me. So I had an opportunity to spend a day with Maya Angelou, which was absolutely amazing, because I grew up reading all of her books and her poetry, and had an opportunity to spend a whole day with her, which was, again, very amazing. Number 6, I produced a video for Michael Jackson. He was here in town. He was working on something with now deceased businessman Don Barton, and I was picked out of about 20 people to produce a video for Michael Jackson and spend an afternoon with him. Another amazing opportunity. You've already moved on. That's fine. A couple of points for you guys. As you're sitting here now, what should you be doing now so that you can be here soon?
Prepare.
Okay, absolutely. And how should you be preparing? You need to get involved. Now is the time. Get involved in extracurricular activities. Be in the choir, be in drama, be on the basketball team. But don't just be on these things. Really get involved. Get to know your coaches. Get to know your counselors. Your counselors are there for a reason. They're there to help you. That's what they get paid to do. Utilize them to be able to do that. And then once you don't even have to wait to college. Get an internship. That's so important. And it's not just about paid internships. You can get an unpaid internship. Every place that hires people is looking for free help. Get those internships. And for me, I tell people all the time, internships are as important for you to learn what you don't want to do as what you do want to do. When I went to Entertainment Tonight, I thought I wanted to be Oprah. That's all I thought was I want to be Oprah. And then I went there and I realized that the real power wasn't in front of the camera, it was behind the camera. And so that's how I got into production. So get an internship. Next, please. Find people who are in the field you want to get in and reach out to them and ask them to mentor you. Just while I was sitting here with Leon Richardson, I asked him to mentor my son. So I use this as an opportunity to get to know someone and ask them to help someone who's important to me. So do that. And let's just say about Facebook and Twitter. And you are young, so make your mistakes now and get them out of the way. And I'm going to tell you this now. When you go to college, if you got a bunch of crap on your Facebook page and your Twitter page, clean it up. Because I hire for General Motors, and trust me, we'll go and check. And if you got a bunch of crap out there, it can really hurt you. So, use these tools, but use them responsibly. Next, please. And then real quick, just a couple of my tips for success for you. Raise your hand for assignments. Raise your hand for extra credit. You might not even need it, but raise your hand to get that extra credit. Again, find a mentor, or 2, or 3. I gave you my Twitter handle. I want to see how many of you are really going to reach out to me and ask me questions about your education and your career. You've got a whole group of people up here who took their whole morning to come and spend it with you. Please make sure you use that for your good. Yes, sir. The executive Viva, yes, it's T-H-E, executive, which is capital E-X-E-C-U, Viva, D-I-V-A, all one word, the executive. You are welcome. The executive, I'm gonna check. All right, real quick, learn something new every day. I don't care what it is. If it's a new word and you choose to use it, learn something new every day. Know your limits and then find ways to stretch beyond them. It's not too early to start perfecting your craft, whatever that might be. Late. Don't be the last person walking into class. Stay after class, ask questions, utilize the resources you have in front of you right now. Network. Again, it's not too early to start doing that and start reaching out to people who you want to be like. Instead of hanging around with folks who aren't doing anything, you need to be looking for who are the people who are doing something, who is where I want to be. And they'll go and network and commune with them. Accentuate the positive. What do you do that's really well? Do it even better then. Take a public speaking course. It's not too early to do that. No matter what you're going to do in your life, it's going to be very important that you are able to communicate orally and communicate your thoughts. And when you start interviewing, it's going to be important that you only have a couple of minutes to really present yourself. And you're a brand. Everybody in here is a brand. And you need to know how to market your brand, how to communicate your brand, how to protect your brand. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. I know you've heard this from your parents and your grandparents, but trust me, it will work well for you with your education and your career. Treat everyone with respect. I don't care what they're doing, where they are in life. You treat them the way you want to be treated. Your bad days are for you only. When you go to school, when you go to work, nobody wants to hear about the mess that's going on for you at home. Leave it at home, and you come and you present yourself professionally. Get involved in your community, volunteer your time, share your talents. Every day, ask yourself, what did I do today to really impress someone? What did I do to knock someone's socks off today? And then most importantly, have fun. Because if what you're doing, you're not having fun, you need to go find something else to do. It's obvious to me that Angela is having fun in what she's doing. It's obvious to me that all these folks are. So have fun. Again, thank you for joining us. We made it through.
Okay, Joycelyn is the lady to know. So, Ms. Allen, I'm sure you all are. Isn't she like amazing? And Dynamo, and awesome. My whole life is always like, you know, every time I look at what you're doing and everything, and just love it. So, okay. Lady to know. So, Ms. Allen, isn't she like amazing? And Dynamo, and awesome. My whole life I always just like, you know, every time I look at what you're doing and everything, I just love you. Okay. I went to go check on food for you guys. Anybody hungry? I know, me too. You guys are the best audience ever. Okay. There's two things I need to leave you with, and that is, I know Toyota sponsors, give scholarships, everything in the entire world. Anybody here like a Toyota car? I do. So we have to, and they give, you know, Toyota is one of the main companies that gives back so much to the community. And also General Motors is too, also Ford, Price for all of them. But Toyota always does something like this. So I want to bring Toyota for a minute. Is that okay? Can we go through your presentation really quick? Yay, Toyota. And then we're going to end it with money and questions. We're going to get up here, talk about the money and questions, then we're going to eat. So I know you'll be ready to say your blessing very soon. Okay. He's going to introduce himself. Go right ahead. Thank you.
So, as a general rule, what I want to say, hello, my name is Steve Cortez, and I'm with Financial Services. And we started this morning. It's about somebody asked what kind of car. So if the car is $200,000, that would mean that I heard of Bentley. Bentley, I think the Bentley is over $200,000. It's a lot of money. So, but today, before we get started, I'm going to talk to you about automotive finance.
The person who's just right here who told me
And
to bring him up.
for everyone out there,
She's
$20 in payment. You have the future ahead of you. Whether you go to college or not, once you enter the workforce, you're going to have more money. I guarantee you're going to have more money than you have now. So what I want to do is I got started. I'm going to talk to you about automotive finance. I just want to go through some tools and resources that you will have when buying a car. We're going to talk about
whether you go to college or not,
credit, what banks and loan officers are looking for, and some tools for Toyota, how you can finance your car. So what I want to do is so as you start entering the workforce, you're going to have some plans. You're going to have some ideas in your head of what you want to be and what you want to do. First, credit, you're going to say, man, you need to get a job. The next thing is if you're taking out some student loans or to come out of college, I got some student loan payments. Some people may graduate and say, you know, I want to go out and see the world. Start entering the workforce. Some people, you're going to have a career. You're going to have some ideas in your head of what you want to be and what you want to do. We'll start entering your head as you're preparing to enter the workforce. I need to get a job. The next thing is if you're taking out some student loans. Once you turn 18, they'll start asking you to sign up for a credit card. So what all does that mean? I know when I was 18 or 19 years old, I passed a desk. People were asking me to sign up for a credit card. I got a 22-liter
How about a credit card?
to sign up for a credit card. And I think it was $500. give me a credit card to buy. So it seemed a little crazy. I didn't have a job, but heck, it was free money. Other than that, what was my responsibility as a credit card? I'll talk about that.
I think I got a free 2-liter of soda to sign up for a credit card. I think it was a $500 credit card. I didn't even have a job, and yet people are all
public speaking. I don't know if you noticed, that's the number one fear of adults. There's not many people out there that say, I didn't have a job, but heck, it was what is the number 2 fear of responsibility as a credit card? Adults? What's that? Actually, the fear of buying a car, or they don't like. People don't like to go buy cars.
Public speaking, I don't know if you know this.
People are afraid that they're going to get ripped off. People are afraid,
not many people out there say, I love public speaking. So, what is the number 2 fear of America of adults? What's it? That?
So, we talk about
the fear of buying a car, or they don't, what they don't like, people like People are afraid that they're going to get ripped off.
Tone down your expectations a little bit.
I don't want to have to go and I don't want to have to negotiate. I don't want to have to do that.
But it's nice to dream.
What we're talking about
so there's a lot of resources out there. You can buy new, you can buy pre-owned cars. There's a lot of different
we talked about what type of car you want to buy.
On the next slide.
You might not be able to find that Maserati or Bentley as your first car. You may have to tone down your expectations a little bit.
How much money do you bring home?
But it's nice to dream. There's a lot of reasons out there. You can buy pre-owned cars. There's a lot of different options.
A lot of ones that like an average car is about $20,000. Most people don't have $20,000 to write a check for, to just pay cash for their car. So you're going to have to finance it. So down payment, how much down payment do you want to
One thing about is car insurance. You still have to
just like in school, it comes down to numbers.
A lot of people, I would say, like an average car
is a lot of determined by what's called a FICO score. So there's, just like there's grades on a test, there's grades on your credit. Can you So the benefits of good credit and the cost of credit, the better your credit, the lower your interest rate. The worse your credit, the higher your interest rate.
Just like in school, it comes down to numbers.
So the high credit score,
a lot of it is determined by what is called FICO score. So there's just like there's grades on a test, there's grades on
interest that you pay, the charge that you have to pay. So you want good credit. You can get a lower
better your credit, the lower your interest rate.
You can charge less credit, the higher your charge.
That's what I thought.
So for a vehicle that you're financing $16,000, if you have good credit,
low
APR, $350 a month.
APR means annual percentage rate, the amount of interest that you pay, the charge that you have to pay the bank.
So let's take a look at good credit.
So you can get a low
back when you have that first credit card,
you're going to get charged
and
less.
it's not that much money, and you don't pay that much attention when you're paying it back.
So for a
It
vehicle,
can hurt you. I don't want to say you can't rebound and get a better financial score after a couple of years, because it's much easier to be responsible up front and take care of the loan.
a little over $1,000 in interest.
Once you get a copy, you can correct some errors. Next slide. You can get a copy of your credit report at AIMCreditReport.com. Next slide.
$19,000.
Resources. Everything. Knowing those costs and what you're going into.
So, back when you have that first credit card, and it's not that much money, and you don't give them that much attention back, it can hurt you. So you have to take responsibility when you get your credit. When you start out on the right foot, just like in most everything, if you start off on the right foot, it's easy to keep that good credit going, keep that high credit score. If you start out, it's harder. You can rebound. I don't want to say you can rebound. You're going to get a better FICO score as far as to sign all the contracts. And that contract is basically you're agreeing to pay the amounts that you're borrowing back. Next slide. Next slide, please. So you can get a free copy of your credit report. You got $200 per page. Once you get a copy, the next slide, you can get a copy of your credit report.
Yes, stand up. Speak up. Let's go.
Resources. And that takes some of the fear away from the car buying experience, knowing those costs and what to go offered some financing options, buying or leasing. Buying is when at the end of the loan, you will own your car. As a lease, it's still financing a car, but you're basically, at the end of the lease period, you have to turn in your car.
And she can go deeper. Everybody in here can go to her program and she can talk to people. So please, do that. All that people get out of the website. They come to you, buddy, and you know.
Then you'll go into the finance office. The finance office is basically, you're going to be offered a couple different things as far as you sign all the contracts. That contract is basically you're agreeing to pay the amount that you're borrowing back.
You want to go to it?
At Toyota, we have what is called a college grad program. The college grad program, we recognize that you may not have a very deep credit file. We forgive some small glitches in your credit. If you have small times when you haven't paid everybody on time, we forgive a couple of those. We have 90 days deferred. The one thing we do, tier 1, so that is good, low AP. And in most instances, we don't require a co-buyer. College grad, we're banking on your future and your responsibility, your commitment to working and paying contracts. Last year, Toyota offered a free Corolla to whoever could develop a video for the college grad program. Here this is. Let's say you're in Kohl's or you're anyway, we gave away a free Toyota for a video on marketing the college grad program. No matter what the biggest thing that I would say to take away is how you build your score. Financing is important, and just until you can establish your credit report, just take care of all your responsibilities, pay your bills on time, and your FICO score will stay high, and you'll have a loan card. Thank you. If you use credit and you pay on time, your credit score will.
I am so sorry. I ended up bringing up the financial already paid somebody asked me to. I apologize for you. But you, great job. Thank you. I want to ask you guys any questions. I am so sorry. You guys are just listening to us. You want to say something? Got a resume, your job, new job? Okay, who has a resume? Who has a question? You got so much knowledge up here. Who has a question? Go ahead. Question. Okay, go ahead, young man. Yeah, stand up, honey. Speak up. What school? King. Okay, King High School. Okay. All right, go ahead, Angela.
What I majored in? Yeah, I majored in communications. And like I said, I got an internship at
Isn't that perfect? That's awesome. Okay, next question. Next question.
Then I would say,
go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
Local television.
Both of you guys stand up. One at a time, talk. Thank you, Miss Angela Spencer Ford. She's amazing. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, if you're open to that, that's a great way to get into a local television station.
Go to WXYZ.com now and apply. You can call me up. I can try to see what I can do to help you to get into there right now.
And she's a real diva. Everybody in here should go through her program, and it teaches you how to be a lady. So please, please, please do that. All ladies go. Who said all ladies go on the website?
Stand up, please.
There you go. Thank you, honey. And you're a gentleman, aren't you? I know. Okay. All right. Next question, honey. Go ahead. Next question. Everybody be quiet. Let's listen to this question. Go ahead.
This question, to anyone that can answer it, I'm planning on becoming a chemical engineer. So how, as a chemical engineer, help the auto industry?
Chemical engineer? You want scholarships, honey? You're going to get a lot of scholarships. You need to apply now. Chemical engineering? The question is, chemical engineering, what's your question about it? You want to go into it? How did they what?
Bring attention to the fact that they sold furniture.
Okay, somebody answer.
So
real fast.
The house, we furnished the house with, furniture from Walmart. So we used a interior designer to actually help us create all the rooms in that house. But for the most part, it really just depends on whether or not we have a client that is in that field.
We actually use set designers a lot for our auto shows because we create actual sets. If you go to Pogo, go to the auto show, you'll see sets. So we actually
okay, next question.
Set designers a lot for that.
Are we going to say
That's what you want to do?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Jenny. Go fast.
You probably great. I say you're probably great at putting together stuff. Okay, go ahead.
That's a great question. Take out a loan for some for $100 to raise your credit score.
There's sub-careers, so you don't have to be a designer or be able to draw, something that you can do specially. You know what? There are a lot of sub-careers coming up on the next panel, and one of the things I want to talk about
One of the things I wanted to talk about were those subcategories, and I want you to listen very, very closely to this, because most people don't understand this. Automotive and manufacturing has been a very closed environment for most of the time it's been here in this country. In fact, they limited people of color to only certain positions. The reason why I wanted to join what I'm doing now is because my grandfather retired from Chrysler.
Thank you.
Do you know what he told me?
Okay, next. Go ahead, honey.
Everyone wants me to step foot in the automotive company.
Okay, her than her. Right here.
Because
Go
they
ahead.
treated me unfairly.
What did
I do?
What's your name?
I went to college, I studied
From what school?
hard, I worked hard, and I got a job in the front office, so to speak, as a
Okay, go ahead.
The reason why that's critical is that I can tell everybody in here about an opportunity that will help you take your lives to the next level. These are things that nobody wanted to tell you about. Do you hear me? These are secrets that they don't want you to know. But when I get on the stage, I'll be able to tell you specifically ways you can focus your attention so you can get positions to answer the question the young man raised of other positions that will get you through. The reason why the Reverend came was not just to come, he wants you all to win. At 17 years old, they said I was never going to do anything. I was from the east side, and I fought every step of the way. So listen, the question that he raised was a great question. So manufacturing, you can be a supervisor, you can run the show there, you can work in paint, you can design, you can be a mechanic and fix the automation. How many people know that stuff breaks? I mean, it breaks down, so we need specialists who come in and take care of that. So everybody in this room, we should leave with, I want to get to know students. I want to get to know more about these other careers because there's so much that you don't know about. Who knows what tool and die is? How many people? Do you know why? It's a very small segment of the business and very few people of color working. It's a reason for that. So you guys got to listen to the panel as well as the rest of the folks that are going to come up because it's great stuff that will help you go to the next level.
how important education is, you have to be able to articulate your ideas as an engineer, whether it's written or verbal. So make sure that you hone those skills over time, and you do that with practice, repetition, and training.
And just to piggyback on what Joy said, in terms of writing, no matter what field you're in, or you go into, writing is critical. I've seen resumes like Joyce and we hire people, just like other people on the panel, and I will look at a resume and put it down, not even looking at the qualifications and experience of somebody because it's poorly written. So really hone in on your writing skills and really trying to perfect that grammar and correcting, misspelled words, all of that is so important when, because it's so much more competitive. So be forthright and help yourself improve in your writing and communication skills.
Okay, we just want to talk about money for 2 seconds. I have a handout I want everybody to take with them. It teaches them how to get paid to wear makeup, paid to wear Nike gym shoes. You will get paid to do it. So if you want some free Jordans to come in the house to you to play sports, I want you to do it. I want you to go to every concert for free, movies for free. I want you to call up every venue, wherever Drake is going to be, and say, I want to be a seat filler. They will pay you to sit in the front seat. So when everybody want you to do that, I want you to go to movies for free, GoFocal.com. I got all these other websites. I can sell electronics for free, all the stuff. If you have any questions or anything, you can follow me on Twitter. And my handle name is Waste, because I always want to waste, W-A-I-S-T, Waste Reduction. So that's my Twitter name, or Young Perry Mason. But here, go to Erica Hustle right here. They want the woman who wants red bottom shoes. Raise your hand, and we can get red bottom shoes half off. You can even get Brazilian half off. I got all the stuff here. So I'm gonna tell you, this is how you do it. I put it all in writing, get it from Erica Hustle, and then I'm gonna bring up Michael. I'm so sorry, Michael didn't get a chance to talk a lot, but your buses are almost here and your food's here. So I need you guys to eat and leave, and I love all of you. Call me for a scholarship, call me for a job. Michael, go ahead. No, wait.
There you go. Everybody sees the winners and couple and all the Here's the deal. We have someone from Hampton Post Office. His name is Washington. He's not Jr. Everybody go up. Let's get a little order. Cass Tech, Renaissance, Central, and Kingston. That's it all. All right. So we have Washington going to speak to you guys very briefly about something that's important, and that's student loan debt forgiveness. And I want you to go give me a little love as we wrap up the program. Washington, please step to the stage.
Come on, Mike.
College. As you guys know, University of Detroit University is a private school. It is very, very expensive. It's like $14,000 a semester, $28,000 a year for 2 semesters. And I work for Congressman Henson Clark. Congressman Henson Clark works in Congress, and he actually came up with a bill to try to cut student loan debt for people that graduated from college. And right now, student loan debt has reached $1 trillion this year. So anybody know anyone with student loan debt? If you add up all that student loan debt, you owe about $1 trillion in student loan debt right now. So we're trying to make it very, very simple. We came out with a plan to reduce it, and it came out with a 10-10 standard. So basically, you pay those student loans for 10 years, 10% of your discretionary income, that's the income you make above the property line, and your student loans are forgiven. So basically, so that we can have people in our office that come there like 80 years old still paying student loan debt. Simply because it was so much debt they took on, there's not really an opportunity. You can't write it off in bankruptcy, you can't do any of that, you still have to pay it. So we came up with that standard, and if you lose your job, you're in the program, you pay it off for 10 years, you still get to stop paying
actually get to start back and start where you started. Where you left off in the program, you actually started at the point. So say you're 5 years into the program, you get to start off at 5 years. It's also done unemployed for 2 years. You get to start back off at 5 years. 16 years. Basically, that's it. If you guys have any questions about the program,
Oh, this is your sister?
No, Erica Tyler.
Everybody, all of you get a round of applause. Okay, and so sitting on the floor, other than that, your bumpers are here. Thank you for coming and have a phenomenal afternoon.
Where are you?